Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So, if you're a Sega fan or an Emulation fan, you're going to be very excited about this video. That is because this is a direct capture of Emulation of Ollie King, the third in the franchise of Sega skating games, along with Top Skater and Air Tricks. For the longest time, this thing was just absolutely unplayable unless you found an original arcade cabinet, and trust me, those things are getting incredibly rare out there. If you see an Ollie King cabinet, throw some money into it, because odds are you're never going to see it again. So obviously, Emulation keeps these games alive. We talk about that a lot on the channel, especially with these amusement arcade cabinets. But for the longest time, Ollie King basically just never emulated. But I am playing and capturing here a test version of a new build of the Emulation for Teknoparrot sent to me by the actual Teknoparrot devs. So I can talk about this on the channel. I will tell you, it might not be perfect, but compared to where it came from, it is night and day different because this one actually runs. Before you get too far involved, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined to want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. But obviously any emulation improvement is going to be a very big deal, especially when it brings you a game that you can never experience before. And the best part is, I do remember playing Ollie King back in the day when I was in Las Vegas. Basically every single year I would have to go out for SIA or Snow Sports Industries of America when I was the international team and brand manager for Burton Snowboards. And I remember, I think it was Excalibur, actually had a cabinet of this on their arcade floor. And yes, even back then, I would stop by an arcade and throw some coins in because it's one of those things. Arcade games were still a pretty big deal when I was doing this, and you definitely got some fun experiences. I remember thinking to myself, the game was awesome, moving on, and I have never seen an arcade cabinet for it since. So obviously, even I want to go in and play more of this because I remember that machine being like $3 or $4 just to get one round in. Now, if you can't tell already, this is not running 100% at full speed, and again, this is a pre-built test version. Hopefully the speed comes up soon, but again, original Xbox emulation. This is Chihiro, which is basically an Xbox with some additional RAM. It definitely still needs to improve until you're going to get a one-to-one perfect experience in the gameplay department. But you can play this game from start to finish. You can see all three courses. You can go ahead and control your character and really still have fun with it, because you will see the speed ramping here seems to go up and down, and that's something you see on original Xbox emulation as well. Some of the more intense games will definitely kind of slow down even if you have a beast of a PC to run it on, just because the emulation is incomplete. So hopefully in the future, and I know the Teknoparrot team is dedicated to this one, we can get some 100% emulation speed-wise of Ollie King. But even that, the fact that it runs in and of itself is an absolute win for arcade preservation, because the problem with these type of cabinets is they get abused and they get beaten like they owe people money. People jump on the skateboard, the plastic skateboard, on the machine and just absolutely thrash on it, so these things break down all the time. And if an arcade operator doesn't feel like it's worth repairing it because the game isn't making that much money anymore, unfortunately they end up in the recycling bin. So many incredible cabinets have just basically been trashed at the end of their life. A few actually go to private collectors if they can find out that these things are being gotten rid of. You will see there are a couple visual glitches here. That flag is just absolutely floating in from nowhere. But again, considering this is the first time you've ever really been able to play this game, and it is still in test, these are all things that are just absolutely great to see, because before you really couldn't see anything. And that, again, is just why this is such an exciting video for me, because you know me, I love my Sega arcade racing, and honestly, Ollie King is nothing more than a racing game with some tricks put in the middle. It's kind of like Outrun 2 on a skateboard, and that's something I definitely love to see. Now, additionally, the Teknoparrot team has stated that coming soon is also going to be Gundam Battle Operating Simulator Crazy Taxi 3 as well. It's one of those things. Crazy Taxi 3 obviously got a home console port, so much was exciting about that, even if technically the Chihiro version is ever so slightly better. It's really the games that never got the home port, stuff like Virtual Cop 3 and Ollie King, that really have my excitement, because again, if you want to play these games today, it's basically impossible. And I want to live in a reality where absolutely zero games from back in the day, arcade or otherwise, would be deemed unplayable, and that is why retro gaming is making a comeback. Preservation projects to bring games from obscurity, or basically from the brink of extinction, to your TV to be able to play. Let's do a soundtrack sample. I don't believe it's licensed music, so hopefully this one squeaks through, and I'll be right back with more Ollie King footage and talk about when you're going to be able to test this one out. But enjoy, because it is quite Sega and it is quite good as well. I mean, it kind of sounds like a surf rock soundtrack, but I would say it works in context with what the game is trying to do. And speaking of what the game is doing, it has a very distinct look to it, very original Xbox, because obviously that is what it's running on. But the NVIDIA chip in the Xbox always had a very distinct picture and a little bit of softness as well, because one of those things, this is still running at its internal running resolution of 480p, and then of course it is being captured and displayed at 1080p. So any softness you see in the image here, hopefully at some point in time that can actually be bumped up a little bit in the resolution, because one of those things, we want these games to look as good as possible and also perform as good as possible. And you will see here in certain sections it will run at full speed, so it must be some sort of render in the back end on the emulation side of things, and the cost of the hardware just being a little bit too high test for even the fastest of PCs. A big thanks to one of the actual members of my Discord, Anime Fanatic, for helping with the capture as well on this one. I knew he was stoked to play this, so I kind of brought him along for the ride, because a lot of people on my Discord talk about Teknoparrot emulation and the new games that are coming, because they're definitely adding more every single week and every single month, and it really is becoming almost an all-encompassing sort of encyclopedia of this era of arcade games, because MAME does an amazing job of all the 2D stuff and some of the earlier 3D things, but as far as all of these games, the consoles in an arcade cabinet and the PC boxes in arcade cabinets, Teknoparrot definitely covers a lot of them, and that is absolutely outstanding to see. And I will say right now, you would think, how do you control a game that you would stand on a skateboard and physically move your body? The nice thing is this 100% transposes over to analog controls, and they do make perfect sense. You might want to adjust the overall sensitivity just depending on your particular control setup, but otherwise this is something that actually runs extremely well with a controller in hand, which is the same instance as something like Air Tricks. It just actually works once you get used to it. Think about playing a game of Tony Hawk and then just think about playing a game of Ollie King, and you kind of get the overall impression and vibe. And in a lot of ways, like I said, this is absolutely just a straight up racing game. Yes, you have tricks, but you have checkpoints. The goal is to get to the finish line first. Yes, you're dealing with your overall ranking, and you'll see here that isn't S, but the main goal of the game is to be able to get to the finish line before anyone else. So let's just call this one Outrun 2 on a skateboard. And hopefully at some point in time the Chihiro version of Outrun 2 does run in Teknoparrot emulation as well, even though it's one of those things, maybe not the best version of the game compared to SPSDX, but it's one of those things, the more Outrun 2 the better, the more Sega Arcade emulation the better, and honestly just the more fun the better. And I'm sure this is going to make a lot of people very happy, because Ollie King has always been one of those kind of hidden grail games or emulation that people just really wanted to experience and get running, and up until this point in time was basically considered not an impossibility, but an improbability, because no one was really working on it too much. But thankfully the Teknoparrot team apparently decided that April is going to be the month of original Xbox Chihiro emulation, because we've got a bunch of updates and I know more are coming soon. Let's do one more soundtrack sample. Again, I don't believe this music is licensed because I've never heard it before, but if for some strange reason you hear silence, that means it got flagged, and I'll be right back with a bit more Ollie King. I mean, so there you have it. Ollie King can now be emulated. You can sit down and play the game, experience everything, and I would say it runs at about 85% to 100% speed, depending on what scene you're in. And it definitely has a few visual glitches, but nothing that is game-breaking. And hopefully by the time the Teknoparrot team is completely done, we'll have every single Chihiro game running near to perfect speed, if not perfect speed, so that you can play them anytime you want. And I know I say this on a lot of videos and sometimes people debate it, but this is why emulation is incredible, and it is why it is video game preservation first and foremost, because even if you got this game to run on an original modded Xbox with extra RAM, good luck dealing with the I/O and actually controlling the thing, because every single cabinet had a lot more hardware inside of it than just an Xbox with a controller port. But now you can definitely check this one out. I'm going to probably keep this video under wraps until it actually goes live, because it's one of those things I don't want to preview it too early. They make you guys wait a week or 2 weeks for it actually to be playable. But definitely check Ollie King out. It's absolutely a vibe and I love it. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.